Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. This is the history of my the severity of my binge eating disorder over the last year and a half. So in 2024, I seemed to be on top of the world. I had just landed a dream job at Maricopa Colleges. I was teaching at Rio Salado and Glendale Community College, and I seemed to be on top of the world. And I had a solar eclipse that I wanted to go see in Kerrville, Texas, and the year before that, I had missed an opportunity to make a move on a girl. But you know what? Just the fact that I even had that opportunity. Actually, I missed two opportunities. I was at a board game club, and this guy was harassing me because I told him I had food allergies. And this girl said, "Why don't you come here? You know, we understand." And I I didn't think to make a move on her, and the reason I didn't was because after I told her I appreciated how she understood, she told me that she lives with it. I mean, what happened? Well, what kind of allergies do you have? And she has type 1 diabetes. And so at the time, you got to remember, I was juggling two jobs and my art career, which was kind of still in its infancy at the time. And the concept of dating somebody who had a chronic health condition kind of bothered me. It really shouldn't have, but got to remember what I was doing at the time. That was what was going on in my head. There's another girl that I missed an opportunity on. What had happened was I was living in a 4-bedroom house, and I actually got along with my roommates there. The one person I didn't get along with was the manager of the place. The owner of the place had hired a family member to manage the place, and the family member had a very sensitive sense of hearing, and he would be bothered at 10, 11 p.m. that I was eating, that maybe I went to the toilet, or so. Nothing crazy, right? It's not like I turned on any audio array. It was mostly just regular everyday living noises. He'd be bothered by it. And to give you an idea how bothered he would be by it, he would come out to complain. And when he complained, oftentimes the complaint was louder than whatever noise I was making. And you know what? The truth is, had I just ignored him, things would have been okay. The problem was that at the time, I wasn't as financially stable as I am today, and I needed that place. And when he made waves like that, it caused a lot of tension for me, anxiety. And as a result, there was one roommate who actually I probably could have made a move on. She had spent quite some time talking to me about something one night, and I didn't even think to make the move on her. But you know what? Despite missing out on those two girls, the fact that they even existed gave me a lot of optimism at the time. And then I got really busy with my work. I had a really busy season with my art projects that season. I went to 3 art shows in the space of a few months, and and then there was another girl. This time I didn't miss the opportunity on, but you know what? It was short lived. I also discovered that it was kind of the wrong. She was a. I won't say too much because I might still see her, but long story short, she has a different kind of sexual orientation than I had thought. And after we parted ways, I ran into the harassment of having COVID-19 and having to tend to myself. I've talked extensively about that already, and that's what prompted me to offer a reward for anybody who could set me up on a blind date. And that's when I met my friend at church, and things started to get better. And then I took the trip to Taiwan, where I had a really good time. I came home, and I actually had a very successful. Quite a few successful dates. And during that time, I met a girl that I like to call Eve Curry. I also met a girl in Houston. We're still very close friends. But unfortunately, none of that goes in a straight line. Eve Curry has a lot of anxiety, always canceling last minute, always late showing up, and the turbulences of that. Also, during that time, I met a girl at the community college, and so she's still going to high school, but she has weird feelings for me. But you know what? I'm trying to enjoy that while it lasts. I know it's not going to go anywhere, but you know what? It's still a good experience. The other thing I really and don't tell her this, but I didn't have a very successful love life when I was her age. And I'm trying to kind of make up for that. Getting to know her and going to that carnival with her last spring, it kind of feels like paying off a long ago debt, that's been overdue. I haven't been able to pay on it. To be able to finally call the bank and give that lump sum, it really feels like that. It really feels like that. It's the equivalent of that. And fortunately, things have hit a new normal, and here I am. I'm going to go to Taiwan, and hopefully, the food choices in Taiwan are much more conducive to a healthier lifestyle. And then I'm going to come home, and who knows? It depends on how my love life goes. For the rest of this year, and more importantly, how I take it. Right. After all, I didn't have anybody here, but I had a positive attitude. Here, I had a lot of people, but I had a negative attitude. Right. So it's really how I take it more than anything else. Right. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.